Well, welcome back to part 2 of the TOS Enterprise build. Got some good luck. I found all that footage that I thought I lost with the saucer, the neck, and the pylons, and the bridge, and all that stuff. So, we're actually going to start off on this next video on doing the lower saucer lighting. So, let's head over to the bench. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to part 1 of the TOS Enterprise build. 1/350 scale. I started doing some things off camera, so I'm sorry about that, but it was just basic, simple lighting. But yeah, I was doing a test, and she's lighting up pretty good. If I can get this around. Got my impulse engines going too. But let me show you and talk about what I pre-did. Mainly just glued the bridge on. As far as the top piece, just got the bridge glued on. I want to get that on nice and good and sealed up that. The seam looks really good. I might throw a little perfect plastic putty in there. So I see a little dimple there. But sometimes even the thin set glue, if I just run in there, will fill all that, and that's what I did mostly. Other than that, it was just painting, light blocking it black, and then spraying a little bit of white on there to get some reflection. One thing I also did that I was watching Boyd over at TrekWorks, since he's built a lot of these. He's a good guy to check out on building these. There were two tabs here, fairly long, about from here to here. It might be hard to see on camera because it's all whited out and flat. But in between this hole, there's two tabs from about here to here. He said to get rid of those. They inhibit putting the top down. For some reason, he's like, they're not structurally need to be there, and they bundle up with all this back here on the bottom half. So that's pretty much all I did to the top. I still got to get the window glass in here, and I got to build a bridge and all that yet. But I like to do a lot of my lighting off camera because it's simple, and also it's like you need to concentrate and trying to talk and do it at the same time. We're losing connection. It's hard, but basically all I did is put some LED strips here. I used high density. This is a lighting kit from Gary Hughes, I'd like to say. I got a lot of light kits from him for some of my kits. They're great. They're he gives you a lot for a good price, I think. If you're on a budget like me, Tenant Controls, I'd love to throw some of their stuff in ships, but so I found Gary Hughes. He gives you good, flashboards, and it gives you a lot for the price. And I think a lot of it for the price being so inexpensive is because you do have to build your flashboards. But he puts them all in one bag. He has great instructions that you can download. And tells you, it's real simple to put together. Pretty much even has on the board itself where things are, where they go. So it's just simple soldering, and I like doing that because it makes it makes you feel like you're more part of the build because you're actually building your flash board too. And same thing with the board that's going to do the rotating Bussards. You get to build that, and it's really simple, And his diagrams really tell you. Really good instructions on how to do it. So I start off with his kits, and then I broad off and customize and add more to it. But to get a nice, good basic kit, he gives you a lot. So it's definitely something you want to check out. So I did one thing I changed is he gives you just pure white LEDs, and they're not high density. And I wanted my windows to be more like the TOS, which were incandescent bulbs at the time. So it had more of that yellow, warm white. So I went with warm white, high density there. I kept with the cool whites he had for these, but I replaced all the windows with the warm white, and then I did the cool whites on those areas there. I don't know if you can see on camera, but yeah, for the 3 dots that face down there, I did a cool white. For the front area here, I did a cool white, and over here. So but the basic wiring is simple. I just put strips down and just loop positive and negative, all the way around. So it starts here, goes to that one, goes to that one, that one, that one, that one, and that's the end of the chain. And then I got a power termination block here. That's gonna, everything can plug into, and then my main power that'll go down to the secondary hull. And then I put a 5mm bulb here for the sensor array dome there. Just ran that up, and the only thing I changed here is he had just regular red LEDs for the impulse engine. I went and I have some flickering ones to give it a little more animation. So, but other than that, it's the same design. I'm not going to do the LED bulbs for the navigation lights here. I actually use some small SMDs, 2 whites, one for the one that's going to be on the window side, on the exterior side, and then one for the one down below. And then on the top, I'll do the green and red and use SMDs because they're so small and it's perfect and they won't blast light everywhere. So, and then I'll hook them all to the flashboard, which I'm gonna locate here. That's why I have an FB here. Other mods to the kit that I did was cutting these down. That's another thing that Boyd over at Trekworks said. You want to cut this down. I think he said about 1/2 inch. These here, and then this top part here, you want to come down 1/4 inch about to get it below this rim here, because he says this binds up, and you can actually, he said when you put the top down, you can actually feel it pushing where the rest of the top wants to come down, and it's not a real structural thing there. Still have all this, and this thing's pretty engineered pretty good, all this here. So he said it's no problem to trim these down to make the top fit much better, and it does. Just putting it on, doing the dry fits. But that's basically all where I'm at, just simple, here's my PowerPoint source, and just looping positive and negative to all those. I like to loop them. Makes it easier, and don't fear, because if this LED strip here dies, it still passes power through, because I've had certain bulbs even go out and it still passes power through. I know some people worry about if this component dies and that ruins your whole chain, but it doesn't. They actually have pass-throughs. It's almost like in a circuit board LED strip, it comes through and then feeds each bulb through the resistors. So it will pass through if you have one go out, because I've had one go out and still everything behind it still worked. So, and that just makes it easier. But I do like to, feed things power directly instead of doing a series. But yeah, I just got to get this flashboard built, because it's the one I showed you here in the bag, and it doesn't take long, maybe 5-10 minutes. So I should actually get my solder gun heating up. But I just want to show you where we're at, and this is just on here so I could line up where those LEDs sit. And then, and also what I had to do here, there must be notches here for maybe the lighting kit that you can buy from Polar Lights. So I used that as a bridge, and then I just took some old sprue or rod, styrene rod, and gave it another little platform for these to rest against. So they're not just floating out there. I probably should almost put another one right there, now that I got them in position. But yeah, that's basically it. But this is just hanging there to give me the alignment for when I glued them down. But yeah, that's where we're at. When we come back, we'll probably start attaching getting this power and getting these attached to it. And then we gotta send the wires up for the nav lights on the top, and then get these here, get the red and the green on those up, and then we got to start working on here. But a lot of it in here, I got to get that bridge going at the same time, and I got photo etch for that, so we'll be going through that as well, hopefully. I'll show you a little bit of that. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. Did a few things more. We got the flashing lights going. I built the flashboard really quick, hot glued it down, and then I already had these in, but what I did is I tied them to one of these, so I have a connector. I tied both. There's two LEDs for one for the bottom one and one for the side one, and brought them over from both sides and tied them together here, and then tied them to the output of the flashboard. And then there's your variable speed, so you can adjust how fast you want them to flash. And then once I find the speed I want, then I usually hot glue that so it doesn't ever turn or change. Still got to feed power from it, so we'll come through that way and attach that one. Also hot glued some of these wires down so it's not a spaghetti looking mess. But then I tied it to a connector because I need to connect this board also to the upper saucer, which we haven't got to yet, so we can get the LEDs in for these guys. And these will be the I'm sorry, there they are. These will be the red and the green on the upper top. This small one is so far out you can't light it. You can see it's right on the glue edge. That little one that's going to be there, so that's going to kind of be a dead one. I don't know if it'll get a little bit of light bleed from there. You probably could get a little SMD to shine at it from an angle, but most of that's going to be right on the rim of this. So, but I don't believe that ever flashed on the actual movie model anyway. It was mainly these two big ones, which they actually used marbles, believe it or not, on the actual original 11-foot model. But yeah, so we got to get the red and green there. But then they'll be able to plug in, and that way you don't have to worry about trying to solder something, you know, and having a huge coil of wire so you can have this up. I always find it's good just a junction. And then I'm going to do another junction to attach power to the lights, regular constant on lights that are going to be for the bridge, and that will shine down the shine on these windows. I'll do two connections that you just plug in, you know, get ready to, once we're ready to glue this top down, all we have to do is just plug, and then do it, instead of having to try to solder like that. So that's what for the connection. This one I made a connection, I used connectors I have, but Gary Hughes does supply you with a JS or something like that. What is it? Come on, computer. The JST connection that he gives you. Might be still in my bag here. Yeah, he gives you a JS2 connection, which I can run one from the power and one up to the lights on top, so then you just click those on, which is great. So much easier doing it that way. But that's basically all we did, so what I'm going to do really quick, because I haven't finished it, is run some power over here, and then we can test, make sure our lights are flashing. So I got a little red wire here. There we go, there's our positive. And then what I'll do is get our length. Always leave a little extra, just in case. You're supposed to strip, not cut the wire. It's because I was messing with too many different gauge wires, because I had just stripped this heavier wire. I gotta remember to keep adjusting that. There we go, and we'll cut this from the length. Make sure it goes the way you're gonna do your path. And we'll get a little shrink tube. Shrink tube goes up. Keeps them nice and neat, and also helps with any type of strain relief. I'll just use my solder gun to heat it. Shrink tube, just keep it moving. There we go. can get those in and strip them, attach them to the rest of the power here. Unscrew these. Get a good twist there. Get all these twisted together. And I believe that's the last power thing I gotta do up in this top saucer. So I could probably put a shrink tube on this whole bundle. And you don't have to do these binding posts. I just kind of like doing them. But you got to make sure that you got enough thick wire in there. Sometimes that's, especially with this thinner wire, it's not enough for these screws to really grab. So that's why it's good to bundle them all together like this. Solder them. The solder makes them thicker too. And then you'll get a good bond. Trim some of the ugly end here. Don't want any little solder pieces in there. For some reason I was afraid they could fall on something and short something out. But yeah, I think that's it for power up here. The other power connector, I'll just jump off of this one, and I'm going to run a thicker wire, sort of like this, maybe not as thick. That's going to come down and go into the secondary hall where we'll attach all the main power together. And I'm going to attach the other power feed to that. So yeah, we can shrink tube this. We're going to take a yellow. There we go. I'm going to try a lighter with this one so it shrinks really tight. This light will work. There we go. Keep those nice. And then we can reinsert those back in here. Alright, here we go. Well, I guess we can do it this way. And there we go, we got flashing lights. Going a little fast, but we can speed them up like that, like mega strobes, or we can but nice, everything's working. Impulse engines are still going good. Yeah, and we got a good glow out of the side there too. That side beacon. That's great. So there we go. That's the flashboard. He did give me a simple flashboard, which is not variable. It probably has a set timing. for the beacons in the back of the lower hall. They're towards the shuttle bay. I don't know if I have anything that would show you a picture, and I don't have the hall out. But I'm thinking, why, and he had it put up here and then run wires all the way from up here all the way down to the back. And definitely there's a reason why he put it up here, why he suggested it up here, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the engineering hall, with the shuttle bay and all the wires coming down for the Bassards, and the Bassard control board's going to be down there. It would just be a mess. So, but to me, I can just run. I'm going to see if I have decent flashing lights. They don't have to be synced with these. I noticed they're not. But I can just use one flasher, a white SMD flasher, and have it control another SMD that's not a flasher, and they'll both flash at the same time on both sides of the engineering hall by the shuttle bay, that beacon back there. Instead of using a control board, I can just use, if I have a flasher that's not flashing like that. If it's doing a little faster, it should be a little faster than this once I get this adjusted to where I want. But there you go. Flashboard's working good. Like I said, it's a simple. Let's get this up here. It's a simple flashboard to build. But so this should work great. We are pretty much done. I just need a glue. Probably shouldn't have unplugged my hot glue. Because this lower deck is done. We just got to get the wiring in the upper saucer. But that's consistent in me getting the bridge ready. But I can at least get the green and the red up and running and do a test. Probably do that. The lights that got to go down here is simple. Just going to do a bunch of lights shining down here. Probably do it in like a little square. So that's fairly simple. But yeah, this is a nicer, simpler kit than the refit. The refit is a monster of things you can do, because you got the arboretum, I got the photo etch for the officers lounge, the rec deck. I had the shuttle bay's way bigger, so I did all lighting and everything in the shuttle bay. I am going to light the shuttle. He did give me lights to light they do have a Galileo 7 shuttle that I'll have sitting in the shuttle bay. And he did give me a light so I can light that up so it looks like it's on, at least, the interior lights. So I'm going to do that. That's cool. I'm glad that was included with the kit. That's awesome. But yeah, that's the end of the bottom saucer. We got to black these windows out a little better. And then I might do a light mist of white on these windows yet. Not in the clear white, but on these here. These four. And then these guys down here. Just spritz it lightly with white. I hit it with Scotch-Brite, and it's kind of giving me what I want. But I think I want a little more because there is bubbles. And not even just bubbles, there's actually divots in the plastic. Right there. It's deep there. Like, you can hear it's not flat like that. That you can't get sandpaper unless I sand down to that. And it's still giving me that little clear, it looks like a bubble in the window. So I think if I spritz it with a little white, that will do that. And also bring the contrast from the warm white to the cool whites a little better. I think it's a little strong that these warm lights are a little strong. So, but that's where we're at. Bottom of the saucer is looking good and ready to eventually get assembled so we can paint her. That'll be last, and we'll have to. I got masks for all the windows. I'll mask that off. Got to mask these guys off. But very happy. So, till the next update. See you soon.